Atibabi Bomaman Konechi Kwariazelo, Tata about the first day of July 2026. I will now send over to Tiger Diranian Chama. Happy new month to all our followers, subscribers, friends, and family. Those who are following us on this page, we say, may this month favor us all. This particular on for Ibanyero gave favor Guinness Zinology. He say so. Barista Aloy Ejimako made this particular post some few minutes ago. The update says, if you truly care for Mazen Nnamdi Kanu and wish him well, stop questioning his authority. Number 1. Number 2, stop hobnobbing with his enemies. Number 3, stop defaming him. Number 4, stop threatening and blackmailing those working very hard for his release, and treat him the same way Mandela was treated when he was in prison. So this particular Ozi Barrister Aloy Ejimako posed to here for everybody, especially those who Nesuma Mazen Nnamdi Kanu or Nabayamba in any way at this particular time. This is not what Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is now. You cannot claim to love Mazen Nnamdi Kanu then you belong among the people who are sabotaging, who are fighting those who are working very hard for his release, or spreading false information, or defaming him, or talking down on him or his family. So yeah, but if only there at this point. So this is a particular message coming from Barrister Aloy Ejimako. Now, anyway, a very important trend that is going around on social media now regarding Ife Merunona Plateau State some days ago. Eburu, this particular leader of Nde Neetiala or whatsoever. Eburu, the man, the Sultan of Sokoto, has issued an order. I saw the post on Sahara Reporters where he said the police, the security personnel should do a thorough investigation and can demand justice. So going now, and they are coming out to speak. When the Python dance, Abia State, they did not ask anybody to do a thorough investigation. When they Benue State, they did not ask anybody to do a thorough investigation. Bruno or whatsoever, the Sultan of Sokoto urged her for thorough investigation. And today, and then they are coming out to say they should do a thorough investigation. When they Mazen Nnamdi Kanu with a law that doesn't exist, and when you see why is this thing happening this way? And one met somebody but their own, and they are speaking out. Anyways, I'll play you guys a video from one night Wokebo Frank Uto, who don't know if concerning this thing, because this thing happened in Benue State. In the Fulani and the Benue were Suko for a long time. So, and that is what led to the buying of this man for now. So, one night Wokebo Frank Uto said something about the governor of the state and what really happened in Benue. But before I play you guys this video, this particular video of this northern guy, what he said here will shock you. This is that some persons from the north knows the truth. How do you maybe because no and have from north, then they will not stand with the truth? No. I want you guys first of all to listen to what this northern guy said here. I think he's a Fulani person because from his tone you will understand. Listen to what he said. Then after that, I'm placing a video from one night Wokebo Frank Uto. Who don't know what he said about all this thing trending. Share the video, share your thoughts in the comment section, enjoy the rest of the videos. I'll be right back.
Social insecurity in our country. And I have seen many people, many Fulani influencers saying that the people of Benue are the people who killed Ardu Risku, Alhaji Ardu Risku. You people should know that there is insecurity. There is bandit, kidnappers, Boko Haram in the country. So you people should not be saying that it's people of Benue that kill Ardu, Alhaji Ardu Risku. No. You people have to believe that there is insecurity everywhere. As it all said, it's not only Fulani. So you people should believe that it's bandits or kidnappers or Boko Haram or terrorists that kill the Niet Allah chairman. That is all. Aluta continue. You people should stop blaming anybody. This person is not the people of Benue that kill him, is terrorists. To sit down with them, to ask them what they need, to give them education so that they will not kill Fulani again.
Hello everyone. For anyone who understands the history of the world, you realize that all through history, societies have always been saved by those who have the courage to voice uncomfortable truths. You must stand up to speak truth, because we have leaders just like we have right now in Nigeria, especially regarding these problems that affect us: Islamic terrorism, the genocide of Christians in their communities, and general pervasive insecurity in Nigeria. We have this kind of problems because of the failure of leadership. And in our case, in the Middle Belt, we have this problem because of the complicity of our leadership. And that brings me to Benue State. Just like Plateau State. We have a leader who is completely in bed with our enemies, the Fulani militia, more than his own people. And I'm talking precisely about Governor Hyson Alia. This is a supposed Catholic priest whose first responsibility, he has a dual responsibility of being the defender of the state and the defender of faith. But he has chosen more often to side with our killers, and I'll tell you. Firstly, when Alia was contesting for governor in Benue State in 2022, when he started, I was a PSA in Oton's administration. I was a PSA for just 3 years, 2020 and 2023. And so I can bear responsibility for, just that period, 2020 and 2023, 3 years. And I was not just a PSA. In that 2022, I was appointed as the spokesperson and director of media and publicity of the Samuel Otom Senatorial Campaign Organization. So in the history of Benue politics, I started quite early. I have been working time and again in campaign organizations. So I've never been involved as this sort of youth that hold banners and go to campaign rally and raise banners. No, I've always been involved in a campaign organization, in the kitchen cabinet of campaign. I started in 2003, when I was coordinator of youth and student of the ACME campaign organization. And then my last, of course, campaign responsibility was the director of media and publicity of Samuel Otom campaign organization. Now, like most Benue people, I also have my misgivings with Otom, because he has really, for me, I consider, just like many Benue people, that he has fallen below par in human resource development, in capital development, and even welfare of the people. But one thing you can never, ever take away from him is the fact that he stood his ground on this matter of insecurity and Fulani insurgency in Benue State. If Alia was in Otom's position at that time, he could have sold out Benue completely, because Otom was under pressure from a Fulani president who was the grand patron and life patron of Miati Allah, General Buhari, who was the dead president. Alia is in a better position now by having Tinubu, a Yoruba man, as president, who he should align with to nip this rubbish in the butt. But he has rather chosen to team up with these guys every step of the way. Now, he started it just barely a month when he became governor. Barely a month in 2023, when he became governor by June, one of the first trips he made was to go to Sokoto and prostrate before the Sultan of Sokoto and call him daddy. Since when have you known this guy? I could swear that he has never known anything about the Sultan of Sokoto before he came up for that election. But when he came up for that election and the Fulani supported him massively, so much financing, the next thing was to go back. At that point, he has never called Akume, who is older than the Sultan of Sokoto, who brought him actually daddy. He has never called Totif daddy. He has never called the Ochidomo daddy. When he traveled to Sokoto, we are not under the jurisdiction of the Caliphate. Benue State is not part of the Caliphate. We defeated the Caliphate. And so that is an extended contempt on all of us. That you go and bow down to the Sultan, and then the Sultan was making the joke of being the vessels of the Fulanis. That's an insult. We are not. But that was what the governor, the kind of contempt and disdain that the governor brought upon all of us. Now, going further, the first thing he did when he came in was to weaken our open grazing prohibition law, and then to dispose of all the vehicles, all the trucks that were obtained during the Otom's administration, to confiscate some of these cattle who strayed into Benue territories. He made the haulage vehicles of Benue links. That is for, that aside. Every step of the way, he blamed the communities where Fulani attacked rather than the Fulani. When Yelwata happened, he blamed us. The chairman of Guma first, who is his agent in Guma, first walked into Yelwata community, pocketed his hands, and was addressing the people and telling the people that they should be blamed for what befell them. At that point, that morning, the Yelwata soil was still soaked in blood. People were still crying in various locations within Yelwata. The dead were just lying on different grounds in Yelwata. But the guy came and said, we should be blamed. He said, Balong people in Gwe should be blamed when Fulani killed them. Sent to Turan people in Kwandi and every other place. But when this Fulani guy was killed, the Ardorikus, the first thing he did was to blame Benue people. He didn't blame the Fulani community. He blamed and asked for investigation to fish out those guys and to be dealt with. Now you could think that the governor of Benue State is not a strong guy. You need to see how he describes Benue people. Uboko Tijija, all those very contemptuous names. You go to a church and be saying, church in Boko, and be threatening the team Boko, and be saying he will kill him, he will destroy, the former speaker Dajo, he will destroy this, and then when he goes out and meet the Fulani governors, he begins to become like their own boy. Look, Benue in Nigeria is the buckle of the middle belt. If you lose Benue, Nigeria will collapse. So Benue is like California in the US, it's like Texas in the US. But that is what he has been bringing upon us. A Fulani man, former Minister of Foreign Affairs, Tuga, called him out on Piers Morgan Uncensored and said, if there's anything like genocide, the governor of Benue State should come out and say it to the world. 24 hours later, he came out to deny any form of genocide in Benue and describe it as skirmishes and describe it as farmer-header crisis. Can you see the betrayal? So we've been placed in a state of embarrassment. Some of us who are out here advocating, a lot of people accost us and say they are so disappointed in our governor that this is his position. You become so embarrassed, extremely very embarrassed. And then this guy goes out against a bishop. The bishop, let me tell you, the Bishop Anagbe is well respected 100 times in the US, for instance, than the governor. If Bishop Anagbe, for instance, is coming to the US, a US delegation will wait for him at the airport. Earlier will whisk him to a US airport without anybody knowing him. He may get one or two baby guys who may wait for him at the airport to receive him. You know, this guy arranged his minions, his aides, to desecrate the office of the bishop. And that is a Catholic priest. And so you see, whatever Anya is doing now, you understand why the canon law of the Catholic Church prohibits priests from going into politics. You see it. Because as a Christian, as a Catholic, ask yourself, has Anya at every point in time stood up to the body of Christ to defend the body of Christ, or as a good representative or ambassador of the body of Christ? No. It's rather been a betrayal in this struggle. He said he doesn't want to share Benue money with the stakeholders, that's people that brought him, gave him the ticket, free of charge of APC. But then, Benue's money has gone to the Fulanis, he empowered them. Why am I saying that? It goes the biggest contractors in Benue are people aligned with terrorism. The contractors who are doing the underpasses, his biggest ever projects, are aligned with terrorism, their history. Bahas. Go and look at the directors. Who are the directors? Who are the proprietors of those companies? They have history of alignment with terrorism. Go look at the guy who's renovating the House of Assembly, Gerewa, and some roads. A Fulani contractor who's building the state secretariat in Gombe State. There are a lot of reputable chief contractors. He never patronized them. He's been patronizing Fulani and terrorist-inclined contractors and going against the valid bidding process, not putting all those things to competitive bidding. He gave them. So he has been empowering our enemies over time. We have to tell ourselves this bitter truth. I don't care if he has built a road there or he has built. The first responsibility of government is security. And the governor should be seen securing his people. It's not all about telling us that he knows the algorithm, he knows what he's doing. No, we have to see him doing it. Even if he doesn't solve it, let's see that our governor has stood up, has challenged these people. He has called them by their names. It gives you hope. It strengthens you. But the governor has never called the name Fulani. He has never called the name genocide. And when we erected a genocide memorial in Yerwata, he wanted to stop people from going for the unveiling. You know, on the eve of the unveiling, he declared a phantom emergency sanitation. But you see, some of us were faster and were sharper. I built the genocide memorial, courtesy of my organization in the US, Equipping the Persecuted. I never let anybody know that was a genocide memorial going on. We started with the cross. And so I brought Bishop in just 4 days to the unveiling, knowing that Bishop will always agree with me as long as it has to do with the interest of our people against this genocide. So I brought Bishop in 4 days to the unveiling. And then 2 days to the unveiling was when we now met in public. That this is what we're doing, unveiling, we're going to unveil the names. And then a day to the unveiling, the guy just declared emergency sanitation to stop everybody. So Benue people, you guys need to call Alia out. He's been a sellout. We've been so quiet about it. This is the time to start calling him out. We don't care. The people he said every time to insult people, those are people who have nothing to lose because they are contented with their situation. And unfortunately, many of them can never even go back to their villages. But because of peanut, they go all about insulting Benue people, saying they are defending Alia. And then you guys are shouting all over, no Alia, no Benue. Benue is not existing. Benue is on the edge of precipice. It's sliding into extinction. There are a lot of ungoverned spaces in Benue. Many ungoverned spaces that government officials cannot even go. And then you guys continue to shout, no Alia, no Benue. So this is the first of several outings. We have to call the Benue state governor out. He needs to either stand up with his people well defined or align very well defined as he has been doing with the terrorists. So this is one of several editions I'm going to bring on this issue.